Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. Today is video number 2 of the mystery quilt, Happiness is Homemade. In this quilt series, we are going to be doing 16 blocks. Today I'll be showing you blocks 3 and 4. These blocks are going to be so much fun. I hope you are as excited as I am. So if you're just tuning in to this series, in the description box below is a link to the playlist. You can save that on your YouTubes and have a quick, easy way to find all of the videos in this series. You'll also find some other links, like links to the blocks for 3 and 4 today. And you'll find the links for my Etsy shop and my Facebook page. Also, the link to the Creative Crew group will be down in the description box as well. If this is your first time to my channel, I'm so glad you're here. We do all kinds of t-shirt quilt videos, patchwork quilt videos, art quilt videos, and tons of different multimedia type of projects. If you haven't already, make sure to click the subscribe button and the little bell notification so that you get notified when I make new videos. Also, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you click the like button and share this video with your friends. So before we get started today, I just want to let you know something fun we're going to do with this series. I'm going to put an email address right here on the screen. I'll also put it in the description box down below. I created an email all about this mystery quilt series. And if you are following along during this 8-week series and you're making your blocks along with me, I would love to showcase your work. I would love to celebrate with you and show off your hard work. So at the end of the videos, starting today, I have 2 pictures to share with you today. At the end of the videos, I'm going to do a little slideshow of the blocks that you've created and share them off with everyone, because that's what I love to do. I love to share your work and celebrate with you. So make sure to stay to the end of the video to check out the slideshow. And if you'd like to submit your pictures in next week's video, email your pictures to this email address. And now we can get started making blocks 3 and 4. Let's begin this week by taking a look at block 3, which is called Cookie Jar, and block 4, which is called Toast. Isn't that so cute? I love cookies. So again, you'll see the sashing is attached, and these are what your blocks will look like once you're done with block 3 and block 4. Again, you have your measurements for your backgrounds and for your sashing located on this front page. So let me just let you know what all is included in this week's blocks over on my Etsy listing. To fit everything in for blocks 3 and 4, I combined the PDF for 3 and 4. So that's one PDF. You download one PDF. You get both blocks this week. And I did that so that I could fit in all of the SVGs. So for the cookie jar, there are 3 SVG files. I had to fit everything in there. And then for the toast block, there is 1 SVG. So there's 5 files altogether. If you just need the applique templates that come with the pattern and you're doing your applique by hand, then you do not need to download the SVG files. However, if you're using a cutting machine, there are 4 files to download to get your SVGs. So now let's take a closer look at our patterns. If you were doing your applique by hand with a fusible or freezer paper, some method to do your raw edge applique with, then let's take a look at how these templates look this week. So of course we have our instructions and background measurements. Then for the cookie jar file, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of templates. You have your words that go on the cookie jar, parts to your lid, your little jar handles. You have your cookies. You have the top of your lid, and then you have the base of your cookie jar. And so to prepare this part of your applique, we're going to cut out directly on the line one of your pieces. just like that. And we're going to tape it together just like you see me doing here. And this will give you the full size template for your cookie jar. There you go. So that's the prep work for the cookie jar pattern. And for the toast, it's quite simple. You have your cover sheet, you have the crust of your toast, and then the inside bread portion of your toast. Again, all of these templates have been mirror imaged. If you're using a fusible product, then you're ready to trace. If you're using freezer paper, you're going to need to use a window or a light box of some sort. And also using a light box or a light pad also helps to trace your templates onto your fusible as well. But these are mirror imaged and ready to go with a fusible. I am going to go ahead and prepare my background fabrics for these two blocks. That is super duper easy. You just cut them to the size of your background fabric right in this box here. And you can also prepare your stashing pieces. And then I'm just going to show you how I fuse down all of my pieces for both blocks and bring you along as I do the applique stitch for each one of them together with you this week. Let's begin today by getting our background pieces cut and our sashing pieces cut. So this is block 3. And then I'm showing you block number 4. Once you have all of your pieces cut and ready to go, we can start with our tracing templates. This week we're going to be doing a little bit of layering with our cookie pieces. So I just thought I would show you how I'm going to trace out all of my chocolate chips on a piece of Heat and Bond Light. And then separately, I will trace out the cookie shape on another piece. We're going to layer our applique for the cookie. Once you have all of your applique shapes traced and cut and the paper backing removed if you're using a fusible, you're ready to go ahead and start placing all of your applique onto the background and fusing everything down. So I just thought I'd bring you along as I fuse down all of my pieces, and we are working on the cookie jar. So something fun that I did this week to save a lot of time is I have a brother scan and cut. And so for my pieces, the larger pieces like the red part of the lid and the jar itself, I cut out with the templates in the PDF. However, the smaller pieces like the letters and the jar handles, I actually used the SVGs that are provided in this pattern and cut them out with my brother's scan and cut. That saved me a huge amount of time cutting out all of the letters. And so if you've never seen any of the videos where I show you how you can do that, make sure to check out my channel. Plus there's lots of helpful videos all about cutting SVGs out of fabric. So if you've never seen that before, make sure to go check out those videos. You can see how we layered the chocolate chips onto the cookies, and now we are layering the word cookies right on top of our jar fabric. We'll just make sure that everything is nice and fused down. And then we're going to bring over block number 4. And for block number 4, I'm just going to do a quick finger press just to give myself a centering line. And then we will start playing with the toast pieces of applique. And I just give myself a centering line just as a basis to go by. I'm really just eyeballing this. I do wish, though, that I would have thought about lowering my toast piece a little bit more towards the bottom of this block. So pay attention to that when you go to fuse your pieces. You might want to lower your applique a little bit lower than what I did with mine. Overall, though, I think it's super adorable and cute. Now we can start with some fun stuff. We're going to bring both of these blocks over to the sewing machine. For the cookie jar this week, I am going to start with some green thread, and I am going to do a blanket stitch around my jar. Now, if you've watched many of my videos, you've heard me say that I'm not really that great with a blanket stitch. However, I have been using it more and more here lately, and I think I'm getting a little bit better. So I'm just going to sit back and we're going to watch as I stitch out my cookie jar. When I move to the jar lid and the cookies, we're going to switch over to a satin stitch. However, just keep in mind as you're watching, you can use whatever type of stitch that you would like to do for your applique. There are no rules with this, so get creative, have fun, play with all the decorative stitches in your machine. I'm also going to do some free motion work when we get to the letters. Now as we're finishing up with the green thread and the green parts of our jar, I'm done with the blanket stitch. You can see I did a little tiny goof up right here, but the satin stitch with the red thread is going to cover that up. So for my satin stitch, I am going to use a tearaway because the satin stitch is quite more dense than the blanket stitch, and that will help keep our stitches nice and pretty. And also keep the background fabric from doing any of the little puckerings. And now I'm going to start the satin stitch on the top of my jar, on the base of my jar lid, and I will also do the satin stitch on the cookies as well before switching over to the free motion foot. We will do this one handle together, and then I'll do the exact same thing with the other handle on the other side. I'll do that off camera to save a little bit of time this week, and then I will switch the color of thread to coordinate with my fabric for my cookies, and then we'll be doing the satin stitch on the cookies. Moving down here now, you'll see I forgot to hit play or hit record as I was doing the satin stitch on my cookies. You'll also see I started on the big whole cookie first, and I realized I wanted to actually do the cookie that tucks up underneath of that first, so that when I do the satin stitch on the whole cookie, it covers where we started and ended. It goes right over top of both the start and end on the satin stitch on that bottom cookie. So I just picked up where I left off, and we'll finish the satin stitch on this cookie. And then I'm going to put the free motion foot on and have fun as I stitch down my letters and chocolate chips. Once I'm done doing the free motion work on my letters and my little chocolate chips, I can cut all of those jump stitches and clean up this block and remove the tearaway stabilizer from behind. Now we're going to move over to block number 4, and we're going to stitch down our toast pieces. For the inside portion, the bread portion of our applique, I'm also using a satin stitch, but this time I made it much more narrow. I think my stitch width for my toast pieces I set to a 2.0 on my machine. Once I'm done with the satin stitch, I'm going to move over to a straight stitch and do a straight stitch around the outside and inside of my brown toast pieces, stitching down those pieces of applique. That will give me a raw edge on my crust area, and I think that is super cute. So we'll just sit back and watch as I stitch down this applique. And just like we did last week, once you're done with all of your applique stitching, we're ready to add the sashing to our blocks. So for block number 3, add the sashing to the right first, and then the top and bottom. And this is our finished block number 3. Then for block number 4, we're going to add the sashing to the bottom first, press that open, and then add the sashing to the left. And this is our finished block number 4 for this week. I absolutely love blocks 3 and 4. The cookie jar, I think, is my favorite block yet. Out of blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4, which one is your favorite so far? I would love to hear down in the comments section below. Somehow it feels like it's going to be a really long week before we can get to next Friday to reveal blocks 5 and 6. I can hardly wait. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to reveal the slideshow for this week. So as we close today, I just hope that you have so much fun with these blocks. Remember the email address that I shared with you. If you would love to share your blocks in next week's video, I would love to see them. I think everyone would love to see what you're working on and celebrate with you. So until I see you next week, enjoy the slideshow and have fun creating.